it's Lee from Coloringqueen.net, and today I'm doing the Colouring Tag 2019 video. I was kindly tagged by Imogen from Colouring Kid, and this tag originated from Lisa Loves. I'll put both of their channels below this video so you can go and check them out. I always find these colouring tag videos extremely difficult to do because I think of colouring books probably differently from other people. I think of them as art books, and I'm quite happy just to look at the pictures, even if I never colour them. So that makes it a bit difficult. And the other thing that makes it a little bit difficult for me is, well, two things really. I have a lot of colouring books, and I've been truly blessed in being able to have colouring books from, I think, some of the most amazing, wonderful artists in the world. I think anyone that can create a colouring book is just fabulous, and if you can draw, that's even more wonderful. But you know, I really think I have got some outstanding colouring books, and it's very difficult to choose. It's also complicated by the fact that I no longer have all my colouring books with me. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that when we moved from Sydney to Brisbane, back to Brisbane to Sydney, that I left a lot of colouring books in storage, thinking that they would already be here. But of course it's a year later and they're not here. So sometimes I just have to rely on my wonky memory and try and remember the ones that I thought would be here by now, but they're actually not. So the first question on the colouring tag video is, introduce the colouring books that you are working on. So Fairy Celebrations, I broke my own sort of little rule when this book came because I just fell in love with it, and usually I only like working on the edition of the book if I also have the original Czech edition, so I'll work on the English edition if I have the Czech edition. But, you know, not having a job, etc. at the moment, I've only got the English edition and I haven't got the Czech one yet. So, you know, there's this fear in me that I'm working on the book without having my spare. And I always keep the Czech edition as a art book, so I can just look through and look at the beautiful pictures. And the English edition is for colouring and for use, and that's just me, and there is a reason for it. You know, I do have reasons for things that I do. So Fairy Celebrations by the wonderful Clara Makova. So I started this picture, which is a sea scene, and I'm not a sea person. I'm actually Australian and can't swim, so there you go. But I started it, and you know, I liked the background and the sand, you know, not so much. But when it came to doing the coral, I sort of lost my way a little bit, and I thought I better put it aside like a fine wine so it can mature and I can come back to it later when I've worked it out. Now, I'm doing what you shouldn't do, which is judging a picture before it's finished, but I just feel that I've gone wrong with the coral and I'm not sure what to do. So I thought the best thing to do might be just to set it aside for a little itty bitty bit, like a fine wine, and let it mature, and then, you know, the vision will become clearer. But that's what I've been working on from Fairy Celebrations by the lovely Clara Makova. When World of Flowers came out, I think I was the last person in the world to actually receive the copy. To be honest, I may as well have just gone down to my local bookshop and bought it rather than pre-ordered it. It took that long to get here. So I never even reviewed it. Yes, I didn't. But it is actually one of my favourite books. And I've been working on it since I got it. And what I've been doing is going through all the tutorials for Joanna's book, and then I go and practice in the actual book. Now I do have to buy another copy. This is my practice copy, because I got a great idea at 5 o'clock in the morning one day of using Brusho, I don't know what you call it, Brusho, they're like a little grains and you add water. And at 5 a.m. in the morning, it seemed like a really good idea that I'd pour this brush over it, add lots of water. Sorry, the phone rang and now I've forgotten what I was telling you. So I used the brush on it and I added water, and I thought I'd go over it with white gel pen or white Posca pen or Molotow pen. And, you know, that didn't work out. It was an absolute dog's breakfast, and I looked at it for like 2 days, and it just made me miserable that I'd had this wonderful vision for this page and completely ballsed it up. So David suggested that I cut it out of the book, or otherwise it was just going to make me miserable every time I seen it. So bye-bye, you know, title page. Okay, so this one is a tutorial from Julie's Passion for Colouring. I use Prismacolor on that. Now, this is one that I didn't follow a tutorial on, and I'm not finished yet. And my apologies, I can't seem to get the lighting right today because it's a sort of rainy day here in Brisbane. And that's not my stomach that you can hear. I need a new office chair. It's making all sorts of creaky noises. It is definitely not my stomach. Okay, just to be clear, it's the chair. So these are Colleen pencils from the 72 set. I'm not finished, but, you know, I'm still sort of working out what I was going to do there. Sort of like an autumny type look. Let's see, what else have I done here? So I started doing sunflowers here, and that was with my Prismacolor Scholar pencils, which work really well in this book. This is another one from Julie's Passion for Colouring, and I use my polychromos on that. This one is from Jazz Funk. It's not really exactly the same as hers, but sort of inspired by her. And I use my Crayola 50 set on that one. What else have we got? I would like to finish this book, I really would, but I got flowered out. This one's another one from Julie's Passion for Colouring, and I use my Lyra Rembrandts on that. This one is also from Julie's Passion for Colouring, and I use my Schiffer Farbens on that one. This one is from the wonderful Chris Chang. This one, I couldn't remember which tutorial I seen that one on. I'll have to go and have a look because I haven't finished it. I couldn't find the tutorial again. This is from the wonderful Chris Chang, and hers has all of these little white, little fluffy dandelion things. I'm still too nervous to do that with the gel pen yet. I've done a few and I haven't finished it. I'm still scaredy cat of the gel pen. What else have we got in here? This is from Peter Hewitt, and I use my Jane Davenport pencils on that one, the 24 set. This one is from Julie's Passion for Colouring, and I use my Derwent Colour Soft on here. One of my least favourite pencils. I think I've got a couple more half-dones in here. I'm the queen of half-dones. This one is from Julie's Passion for Colouring, and I use my Felissimo 150 set of pencils, which was a bad move because there's really not a lot of colours in that set, like browns and whatnot. Another one from Julie's Passion for Colouring. God almighty. I know I have other tutorials saved, but I think Julie just did quite a lot of them, and they're actually really easy to follow. So I use my Staedtler Ergo Softs on that one. And I think that might be it. Oh no. This is from Colouring in the Midst of Madness. Just 3 pencils, and I use my W.H. Smith pencils on this. This one's not from anyone, it's from me, and I use my Spectrum Noir pencils on that one. And they actually showed through on the other side, the Spectrum Noir ones, so I don't know what went wrong there, but I will get another one of these books when I finish practicing in this one. So there's that. The other one that I've been working on is my World's Cutest Animal Colouring book by Lulu Mayo. And I don't have that many to go, but I would like to get this one finished. And I love using her inspirational coloured images. So I hate choosing colours. So I don't have that many to go, but yeah, it's still quite a lot. I don't think I'll get it finished this year, to be honest. But it would have been nice. I think this alligator one's my favourite one, crocodile. I've started this one, but I haven't finished it. Oh, and I do like the panda bear one too. That's so cute. But yeah, I'm saving myself for the bunnies because there's such a big expanse of white space there. So I wanted to maybe use a different medium rather than try and use pencils over the whole area. So yeah, I've got one on the go, and there's still quite a few to go, but anyway, so World's Cutest Animals. Now, I've also been trying to tackle Christmas cards because it's coming up. So I've already used a few out of this book. Luckily, I've got no friends, so I only need the one book. And so there's one that I haven't finished yet, and another I haven't finished yet. Actually, we should call this my video of half-done projects and all the things that my attention span just wanders on. So I did that one. I was going to add some glitter or something to it, but there's still so many cute images in here, and I can't wait to colour some more in. And I think this year I might be actually a little bit better. We'll see. So that's what I've been working on. So what's the next question? Oh, and this is the one that I want to work on this year. It's A Million Christmas Cats. Now, the Million series is usually illustrated by Lulu Mayo, but this one was actually illustrated by John Bigwood. And I've had the book for a couple of years, and I'm really ashamed to say that I've only started, here we go, another start. God, I don't finish anything. I've only started one picture on it, and I haven't done anything else. And it's such a lovely book. I'd like to give it a little bit of a crack this Christmas and try and get something coloured from it. So that's the one that I'm hoping to do something on this Christmas. So they're the ones I've been working on. Now the next question is, name your top 3 illustrators. Seriously, who thinks of these things? Because there are so many wonderful artists. There are just an amazing amount of talent. There are artists that I've never heard of or seen that would be one of my top 3 illustrators once they cross my path. You know, there are probably 5-year-old children now doodling in their room that's going to be one of my top 3 illustrators at one time. And also it's confusing because I don't really know if it's top 3 illustrators where you appreciate the art, or whether it's top 3 illustrators that you enjoy colouring. Because as I said, I think of my books as art books. I think I've got the cheapest art collection in the world sitting here, just even here, not with the stuff that I've got in storage, because that's the way I think of these beautiful books. So this question is super difficult, and bear in mind that some books aren't in my range of consciousness at the moment because they're packed up in a box in Sydney and they're not with me. And even some books here are still packed in boxes because I don't have enough room in the colouring cave, particularly since Millie moved in with all her little toys and trees and caves and whatnot. So we'll see how we go. So as an illustrator, how could you possibly walk past Tomislav Tomic? I mean, he is amazing. He is just wonderful artwork, but he's not in my top 3. I never know how to say it. The beautiful Apple, I don't know, but she's wonderful. Isn't she just wonderful? It's so dreamy and so whimsical and just so beautiful. I love her artwork. I thought I'd brought out her premium book as well, but I can't see it here. I must have left it in the other room. The amazing Apple, but she's not in my top 3. Then, of course, there is the wonderful Kanoko Agasa from Japan. This is just her little Japanese colouring book, but the beautiful Rhapsody in the Forest and Minute of Happiness or Minuet of Happiness. Her amazing colouring books. I love her work. Love, love, love. One of my favourite fun books is Creative Cats by Marjorie Sarnett. I love her sense of whimsy and cuteness and this sort of applique look that she does. It's just fabulous. Not in my top 3 though. The wonderful Zan Von Zed from Australia. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? The amazingly talented Anastasia L.E. Caldereva. Still not in my top 3 though, but oh God, I love her artwork. It is just absolutely beautiful. She is amazing. This beautiful book from Lucy. Isn't it just beautiful? So dreamy and oh, it's just gorgeous. Just so naive and sweet. I just love it. This is a problem when you have so many beautiful colouring books. How can you possibly choose? The amazing Emily Gyuris from France. Her beautiful paintings. You should see her watercolour. She is amazing. I just love looking at her on video when she's painting. The absolutely wonderful Ida Shiaka. I can never get it right. I apologise in advance. This is not a colouring book. This is an illustration book. I have many of her other books, but I feel that they must be in boxes somewhere. And I did want to refresh your memory on this amazing talent. The fantastic Annie Stegg-Gerard. This is my favourite of hers. I wish I'd bought 2. And I think we know why I like it so much. It's got the cute little animals in it. The fantastic talents of Alan Robert. I mean, he makes creepy cute, doesn't he? And I don't really like creepy. I really don't. But aren't these adorable? Actually, I'm going to put this aside to work on for Christmas too. So I put those 2 aside for Christmas. And this woman, oh my God, isn't she amazing? The wonderful Jasmine Beckett-Griffith. I love her artwork. One day I'm going to buy myself a little painting or something of hers. This one by this gorgeous Japanese artist. I can't remember their name, but I like this book so much. Before Amazon Japan geo-blocked Australia, I went and bought another copy just so that I could have it. The fear of one day that I won't be able to have 2 copies of this book. And why do I want 2 copies? Because I'm only a beginner colorist. I seriously am. I have so much to learn and I make so many mistakes, and hopefully I learn from my mistakes. But there's a part of me that would like to be able to improve. So if I can practice in one book and then later when I feel more confident, work on another book, then I'd be a happy little Vegemite. The amazing Christina. Now I did colour a picture from this and there's a video on it, but it's in the actual picture frame, a shadow box. She's beautiful, isn't she? She's an amazing colorist and amazing illustrator. Rare combination, that one. The fantastic Grazio Salvo. God, she's just wonderful, isn't she? The cuteness from Tanya Bagima. I can't pronounce her name, but God, isn't that adorable? But then still not in my top 3. I love this artist so much, and I don't want to balls up her name, but it's Chihiro Shioma. Oh, I love her work. It is just beautiful. And another fantastic artist, illustrator from Japan. I love her work. It's Mitsuyu or Mihu. Oh, I can't pronounce it, but God, isn't it gorgeous? Marialo Budek, hasn't she grown as an artist and illustrator over the years? Her work is just stunning. I think the first book from her I wasn't that keen, but everything that she's done ever since has just been beautiful. And she's got such a range. She can do cute, she can do realistic. She's amazing talent. So another one of my favourite illustrators from Japan. I can't pronounce their name, but it's Fantasy Season. I love this book so much that again, when Amazon geo-blocked Australia, I bought an extra copy so that I could have it for the future. So the wonderful Ikuko. I just love her softness and the beauty of her work. Actually, I think I'm going to colour something in that, so we'll put that one aside. The symmetry, the elegance of Christine Aldridge's work. I love her work so much that what I do now is I just buy PDFs, and I think I've got this one in a PDF as well, because that symmetry actually helps to balance my mind out when I'm feeling a little bit chaotic. I think that's one of her very first books, or close to it, I'm not sure. The whimsy of the gorgeous rabbit girl. I love this book so much, and I think I've got 2 copies, but if I don't, one day I will buy an extra copy, because when it's a super favourite with me, I do want to have a spare so that I can improve. The beautiful work of Maria Troll in The Twilight Garden and Vivi Wants a Friend. And the whimsy of Denise Clare. Now, my favourite Denise book is actually the Fairies one, so I don't know where I've put it at the moment, but I do love all of her books, but my absolute favourite is her very first book. But none of those are in my top 3. I love them all. I think they are just amazing artists. And there is, of course, Christine Caron. I love her artwork. It is just beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So who made it to my top 3? So it's super difficult because I am so moody, and what's my top 3 today might not be my top 3 tomorrow. So all I could do was base it off the emotion that I feel, because I think these artists that work on these colouring books and put art in the hands of anyone in the world, like anyone can buy art for such a low price, it's unbelievable. I think they're all amazing. I love all of them, and some that I enjoy looking at I might not enjoy colouring so much because my skill level is not fit for the book, if you know what I mean. I'm not at that where I can do justice to some of these pictures, but I love looking at them. So I had to base my top 3 illustrators on an emotional response because I love the artwork. And there are 3 particular artists that produce an emotional response with me. And the first one is Clara Makova. Whenever Clara produces a new book, I just have to see the cover before I start getting all teary-eyed and sooky, and I don't know what it is, the whimsy, the escapism, the innocence of childhood, the thought that there might be fairies in my garden rather than zucchini plants and flowers. I have no idea what it is, but I look at her pictures and I just want to pat them and I want to cry, and I don't know if I'm happy or sad, but I just know that I love them. Everything she does, I just love it. It's just beautiful. I love her work. So the first emotional response goes to Clara, and in no particular order. The second artist that brings about an emotional response with me is Karolina Kubikowska from Poland. She does this really dark work, and she's a tattoo artist by trade, and I swear I would go to Poland and get a tattoo from her. I just love her artwork, but I have such a odd relationship with her colouring books. Like, everyone is fraught with some sort of emotional period of my time, of my life, or colouring life, I guess. So this one I'd purchased, and when it came I had a pneumonia, and then I was sick for a year basically, and never got to sort of even open it or whatnot. It was, you know, reminds me of when I was extremely sick. This one was sold out, and I tried getting it for ages, and when it finally arrived I just put it on my desk in its beautiful envelope and packaging, and got the phone call that my mother had passed away, and so I couldn't even open the envelope or the package for months. It sort of reminded me of that, and I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, but I absolutely love her artwork. And Imaginary Friends, it came out, and I think again I had to wait to order it, and by then we were in the process of moving, and it kind of ended up waiting at a post office for me, but so it was in between all this move and David's father getting ill and all the rest of it. So every one of her books comes with a sort of memory in my life for me, but oh, I love her artwork. It is just stunning. And I see people do so many amazing things on Instagram with her. It's just so beautiful, her artwork. Now the next one is a Canadian artist, and I absolutely adore all of her artwork. Don't get me wrong, she can do anything, this lady, but there is one particular art that she produces that seriously, it makes me get all teary and weepy, and I think we all know who it is. It's Benny Blue. When I first seen Benny Blue, it was because I was looking up the information to fill in for an article about fairies, and I love this fairies colouring book, don't get me wrong, but when I was on Christine's site, I seen that she had coloured pictures of this rabbit, and I swear to God, I spent hours just drooling over the pictures, just going backwards and forwards and looking at them, and you know, and then I think she must think I'm some sort of like crazy lady, because you know, I kind of begged her a bit for a colouring book and you know, all the rest of it. So I just love this rabbit. I look at his little face, it's so sweet and he's so gorgeous. I just love that expression on his face. You just want to cuddle him and tell him it's all going to be okay. So yeah, emotional response and kind of minor obsession for Christine Caron, and particularly the beautiful Benny Blue. So top 3 illustrators right there. So favourite type of colouring to do. This is a hard one because I'm so moody. Yesterday I did a grayscale picture that I really enjoyed from Molly Harrison for Halloween, which was grayscale, and I love doing work from Micah Jelena, which is also grayscale. I love her grayscale artwork. But then I love doing mandalas, and I've got Christine Aldridge's PDF of her mandala colouring books, and I love colouring those because I find that symmetry, particularly Christine, she does what I call elegant symmetry. I find that symmetry very relaxing and very meditative. And then I enjoyed colouring my Spiroglyphics colouring books for the same reason. They were very meditative and relaxing, and you didn't have to think about them. And I love colouring colour by numbers colouring books as well, but sometimes I find the results I get I don't really like that much. I never seem to be happy with the medium that I've selected, and yeah, so I find this one a little bit difficult to answer. Maybe, you know, if I was pushed I might say grayscale, but I don't know about that. I think it really depends on the mood. Indecisive on that one because I like all of it. I love all different types of colouring books. I think they're all wonderful. And even sometimes when I don't love them at first, I might love them later, you know. I'm just moody like that. So my favourite colouring mediums, that's pretty easy. My very favourite colouring mediums are pencils. In particular, my favourite colouring pencils are still my Prismacolors, followed closely by my Colleens. And they are still my favourites out of all of the pencils that I've got. I find that they're well suited to the way that I hold a pencil, and I just enjoy using them. And I know some people have problems with them, I don't, so they're my favourites. And I like my Colleens for the same reason, and I think they've got some beautiful colours in them, and yeah, I always enjoy using them. So my least favourite colouring medium, that's probably going to have to be gel pens. I don't like the way that they run out. I don't like the way that the nibs can sometimes get a bit scratchy, and you know, I admire everyone that can make the white gel pens look white in their beautiful pictures, but mine tend to not look like that. And I do have Uniball Signos, and they're my favourite for getting that effect, but I still prefer my Molotow white pen to the Uniball Signo. And as far as gel pens go, I know in the US you have so much more choice than what we have here in Australia, but other than the Uniball gel pens, I really don't feel like that many of the gel pens that are freely available in Australia are that good. They tend to run out, and surprisingly the ones from just cheap ones from Aldi's supermarket have tended to last me the longest, so make of that what you will. But other ones that I've bought from shops I've been a bit disappointed with, so maybe I haven't found my right gel pen. We never know, but I like most things. So the next question is, how many colouring books have you completed? So I've completed 3. So 2 of them you'll see on the channel, which is the 2 Spiroglyphics colouring books. And the other one that I completed was a mandala colouring book from Evelyn's Illustrations. I believe she might have changed the name of her company now. She was on Etsy, and she's a Hungarian artist. And I did a lot of her mandalas years ago, and they were just amazing because I was going through a really difficult time at my employment. And I used to colour one of those, or just start colouring a little bit before I left for work each day, and they were a joy. And most of them I coloured with my Tombow markers and added water to them because they were printed on really high quality card, and they were bound with a ribbon and whatnot. If I think of it and if I remember, I'll link to the video where I reviewed them on this channel. So yeah, 3. And I've done quite a lot in that Cutest Animals book, but I've still got way more to go on that. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that many colouring books completed, to be honest. So my favourite colouring book series is the next one. So there's been a lot of fabulous colouring book series. There, of course, is Romantic Country by Ari. And I know I didn't show that one here, and the reason that I didn't was because I can't find where I put it. But I love Ari. I love the story of Coco. I love the whole thing. Then, of course, there's the Morphia series of colouring books by Kirby Rosannes. And I know I should love it and all the rest of it, but I really admire his artwork. I think he's a fabulous illustrator. I think he's a fantastic marketer. But do I think it's my favourite colouring book series? And the answer is no. I don't, because I don't really like the colouring the animals and the fur and whatnot. And that's a reflection on me because I haven't done any of that sort of stuff. So I'm yet to challenge myself in that regard and challenge myself to do his intricate doodles and all the fiddly bits on his pictures. So that's not a reflection on him, it's a reflection on me and where I am in my colouring journey. Now, of course, there's Benny Blue that breaks my heart, but there's only 2 books so far in the Benny Blue series, so probably not enough to call it a series, but I think we all know that I love Benny Blue to death. Then, of course, there are a ton of other series of books, but the one that really springs to my mind is the Colours Make You Happy series of books. Now, I've only got the postcard books here. I don't have the full books, but there's 3 volumes in the series, and you can see those on my review videos later. But I just love Miki Takai's artwork. It's so pretty and pastel and just absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's one of the reasons that I bought the Holbein pencils, just so that I could replicate this gorgeous look, and because they've got so many pastels in them. To be honest though, I think the Holbeins look like they've got a lot of pastels in them because of the way they're presented in the trays. But in reality, I don't really think that they've got that many compared to, other pencil sets as well. I know the Felissimos have got way more pastels in them. And look at this, isn't it gorgeous? Yeah. So I love Miki Takai for Colours Make You Happy series of colouring books. And the other one that I really love is the Million series of colouring books. Now, I do have more of these, but there must be in a box somewhere. So there's A Million Unicorns. I think I coloured this on a colouring chat one day. I'd like to do some more in that book as well. A Million Sloths. I've never actually seen a sloth, so that will be fun. A Million Bears, A Million Owls, there's A Million Cats, A Million Dogs, you name it. There's millions of them. So I love those. They're so cute. So I think my favourite series would come down to Colours Make You Happy from Japan, or the Million series of colouring books by Lulu Mayo. So the last question in the colouring tag is, how many colouring books do you have in your collection? I have, just in my room here with me, probably about 300, and all up I think I have about 1,200 colouring books. Yes, gasp, I am never going to be able to finish them all. Never. Not in this lifetime. But am I going to enjoy looking at the beautiful pictures? Yes, I am. And are there any that I am going to dispose of? Yes, I am. Because people change over time, and what I liked in the beginning and what I bought and before I discovered other wonderful artists, I think it's time for me to let go of some of those, and I said that before in my KonMari video, it's no surprise, because I am blessed with some of the most beautiful artwork in the world in my collection. So it's just going to be a matter of culling it to an amount that is going to make me happy, and to artists that inspire me and I want to work on. Now, I know in all of that I'd never mentioned Joanna Basford other than to say World of Flowers, but if it wasn't for Joanna, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't have this video. She's the one that inspired me with A Secret Garden. She got me out of one of the biggest slumps of my life, where I didn't want to go on and didn't want to do anything until I discovered you know, Joanna, and she would have to be my absolute favourite person. I think she is inspiring. I think she is a lovely person as well as a very giving artist, and I think she's brought a lot to the colouring community. And I know I didn't mention her as one of my favourite illustrators, etc. And I do love her artwork. I love World of Flowers. I love Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. And I love her new book, How to Draw Inky Wonderlands, which I promised myself that I wouldn't buy because I can't draw a smiley face. But I tell you what, she is so good that she makes people that can't even draw a stick figure like me feel like that they can actually do it. And I think that's great because she's an inspiration to everyone. So I'm sorry that any of her books didn't actually make it to my top favourites, but she is certainly my favourite person. So that's it from me. If you want to take part in the Colouring Tag 2019 video, I'd love to check out your video of what you like and what you don't like and whatnot. I'm sorry that mine is not more decisive because I really am a moody little pumpkin. I can't make up my mind on anything, let alone favourites. And if you want to check out the originator of this tag, it's Lisa Loves. I'll put her channel down below. And if you want to check out Colouring Kid, I'll put her channel down below, and her name is Imogen, and she was the one that tagged me in this video. So that's it from me. Until next time, happy colouring.